Give a nice round of applause to everybody here this afternoon, because I think we're going to learn a lot, and again, also have your questions ready. Because we're in artist management as far as today's first panel is concerned, by the way, the next one is social media branding and PR. That's coming right up at 1 o'clock as you stick around for that one. What exactly is an artist manager supposed to do? And follow that up with why does an artist really need a manager? So anybody wants to grab a first one on that?
I'll start because I'm an artist and I've been through a couple managers. One of the things I think is really important is I think a lot of artists sometimes try to get with a management company and try to prove why they should want to sign them. And I think it's important for artists to kind of realize that it's your own company and you own your product, and any manager that's going to come on board, you're paying them what you make. So you need to make sure that anybody that you bring on is going to bring exactly what you need, and you need to know what you need. So you first have to know, your weaknesses, and you have to know your strengths, and then find somebody that can help you.
Anybody want to build off of that?
I think that it's really important that the artist has to know your music, believe in you, of course, and sort of be in the genre you're in and have a strategy and an idea of where you're going. It's true, you're the product, and I've been through a couple managers myself as well, and I think there's a time to get a manager, when you sort of have something going on, unless it's someone who believes in you from the beginning and sort of can leverage your career. Most important for me is I'm a songwriter, and I need someone to deal with the things. There's so much to deal with these days. You really want someone who's going to deal with the business, the booking, the accounting, the registration. There's just so many things these days, so you can actually do your work and sort of concentrate. And I end up doing a lot of it myself. You have to sort of oversee things. I wouldn't ever just give the trust to anybody, but I think that's really important for me, because you have to have thick skin, so it doesn't, all those things don't bother you, but it's great if someone can sort of take care of that for you, so you can concentrate on your art.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, just touched on that. It's interesting hearing you say this. Well, coming from an artist's point of view, I think that a manager's job is basically to create opportunity, and handle all the things that basically what you just said. There's so much going on that you really want, your artists to focus on the work, to focus on what they do best, and then, leave the rest to somebody who they trust. And like you said too, if you get obviously from the ground up and you leave somebody from the bottom and you're there from the beginning, then it is a little different than, proving yourself to a manager before you're on the roster. But I do think that it is important, to handle such things. And at this point, you can spend your whole day just emailing all day long, So opportunity, whether it's to create it or to seize it, I think that's very important in a manager. But any other managers want to jump in?
I think for an artist manager, the most important thing is, to kind of be well versed and know how to navigate the industry a little bit. And ultimately, it's the relationship that you have with the artist. Not every manager is fit for every artist and vice versa. So ultimately, I think management's responsibility has to be to make sure that the artist's best interest is, taken at heart, that they're not being taken for granted, that things are handled professionally, and that, you're kind of this buffer so that the artist can really create with a clear mind and not kind of be distracted by all the madness that comes with the industry.
Anybody on your side?
No, I agree.
Sure.
I think it's important for your manager to have the same vision as you, so you have the same goal to attack. And I think also it's important, not just management, but the team. So you shouldn't just have just a manager, but you should build around that. Sometimes a manager could be the last piece. You might need a videographer first to get content. You might need digital first. It all depends on where you're at in your career and thing when it's time to get a management. And when you do find a management, you want to make sure that it's a good team dynamic. You want to be able to trust your manager. I should be able not to have to call my artist. I know my artist will go for this, and I don't have to do all the extra stuff. So I think that's important too, to build that. And it takes a while. It's not something like you meet somebody today and then, oh shit, this is the guy. You have to go through a couple of rough things and trial and error to really figure out if this works for you or not. as long as you keep the business always front first, then it'll turn into a great friendship later. But always make sure that the business is first.
And just to comment on that, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't have to be a manager exactly. Like, if you're just starting out, it's usually your buddy, your best friend, your brother or sister.
Somebody you trust.
Yeah, and I think things, when you're first starting, you're not going to have all these contracts and stuff. You're just kind of with somebody that you believe you both want the same thing. But management, in terms of signing a more aggressive deal later on with tons of paperwork and stuff, that stuff, I think sometimes managers will approach you because they see you're doing well already, and sometimes they just take a percentage. So I've been in that situation before too. I got myself a residency in Vegas. I did that by myself. I got my first record signed by myself. I met Mike by myself. I was in Hot 97 by myself. So I don't think you definitely need a typical manager, but it's good to have people on board and get a manager at the right time as well.
The only thing I can add to that is that from the buyer side, always keep that in the back of your head because you're the artist and you're thinking, hey, I just need to get booked. But once you get booked, you want to get rebooked, and you want the word to spread, you want that club to promote you, you want them to bring you back. Sometimes your buddy can do a good job, sometimes they can ruin what you're trying to start. So it's professional management is very good when you get to that level. When you're starting out young, just make sure that your buddy or whoever it is that's helping you like they said, buys into you, you have a good relationship with them, but also that they deal with the talent buyers at the different venues and events in a respectful way, because a lot of times I deal with managers that even at professional agencies that I won't even buy from them again because they just don't know how to handle the venue also. So I would just keep that into perspective with when anybody is going out to get a manager. Make sure they look at all aspects of the business.
Eva and Jess, would you say that the number is really up to the number on that management team? It's really up to the artist in and of itself. What are some stories that you have on the smallest number of management personnel, if you will, all the way up to the wow, you have 18 people managing you, all doing different things.
I mean, for me, going back to what you said, I 100% think the person who's dealing with bookings needs to be very professional, because, that's separate to me. That's a booking agent. They need to have your contracts and everything, make sure you get paid. In terms of managers, what you're asking, I started off with just my best friend, and then at some point I moved on. I was with Calvin Harris's manager for a bit, but he didn't initially get the first things that got interest in me. The way I built interest in myself was just me and my immediate crew, my best friends and stuff. And then later on, the bigger management companies come along. I totally cleared shit the last year, so I've been solo. I was with Sony for 2 years. I had the whole big crew going on, and I sort of just cleared shit. And I was I need to figure out, what exactly I want as an artist and with my company. And now I'm slowly adding people. So I think if you can not go through all that and kind of do that from the beginning, know exactly what you want and then know who you need to do what. A great lawyer, I think, is even more important and the first thing you should do before a manager. Also to make sure that your management deal isn't going to be, horrible. But yeah, I think if you gradually add people as you go instead of just saying I need this whole team all at once, then that to me is the best way to do it.
Jess, I've known your management team for a while, at least two of them, Tom and Richard. They've been with you for quite a while, but you also said that you've had some changes along the way too. So take that question also on the number of people that you've worked with.
Well, I've experienced through what Eva has gone through too, where I had the big managers. So I was in a group called Motorcycle, and we had a more proper management company. And it was interesting because I liked the way they did business. They were really professional about how they did it. I didn't really trust, I had the connection with the person that was handling that project. So in the end, I actually had a friend who kind of had to learn with me, who is still with me now, take over. And I've stayed with them for so long because I really trust them 100%. Are they the best managers? No, and I do a lot of it myself. I've been with even a bigger management company than that, and just got lost on the side because if you're not their main focus, they're sort of paying attention to other people. So, it's been a lot of different types of managers, so I've really stuck with the two. But I also, Venus had said, it's so important about the team and the way how you're adding on a person, because there's so many facets now that we're dealing with, as we were talking with, from websites to distribution to, to just branding. And, I think my team now, I have a couple of interns that have been with me for a while, Tom and Richard. I have a promo person, so it's kind of like building that team until, you feel like all the parts are working together. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's worked out better when I'm the one that builds it rather than my manager building it. Because I've also been in that situation where I've had my manager kind of put together my team, and then I'm like, wait, I don't even know my booking agent. I don't know. They don't know about me. They don't know what kind of shows I want to do and that kind of thing. So I think it's a lot of work, but if you can build it yourself, then I think that's smarter in the long run.
Mike and Jess, we were talking about this a few seconds ago before we got started. Jadakiss had a really interesting post and said artists don't succeed with management, and it was just within the last couple of days or so, I think it was yesterday. Attack that question and how it relates to this room here.
I mean, as far as Jadakiss is sweet, I was a little upset about it, I'll be honest. But I do think everybody's making a great point. It really is a team, and as far as management's concerned, there's so many layers to it, because on one hand, it's like you could have a manager who's fully invested in you, who really cares about your vision, who wants to go hard to make sure that vision comes to life. On the other hand, there's also managers out there, like Eva said, that, are just tacked on for a percentage. Meanwhile, the artist is really, what's driving the business and the attention that's coming in. So what Jadakiss said was basically that artists don't need management. I mean, I guess if you have a solid team, yeah, maybe you might not need like a manager per se, because like Eva said, she's able to build her team and kind of make sense of it on her own. But at the same time, I think it's a mixed message, just because he didn't address the fact that you do need a team. Like, I really believe that to do everything by yourself, if you're going to be on stage, answering emails, handling credentials, doing all these things, it's never going to work. So I was just a little bit upset about Jadakiss.
Seems like he probably got screwed over once or twice, Jadakiss.
What's that?
Seems like he probably got screwed over once or twice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll put it this way. Somebody came back at me in the comments on Biscuit's page. It was basically like, oh, well, obviously they're going to take Jada's side. And it's really, I just can't believe that, like Jada signed to Puff in 94, right? In 94, his biggest focus was Big. So if I'm Diddy and my main focus is Notorious B.I.G. and he's booming 94, 95, 96, obviously I'm not paying the most attention to the locks. They might have gotten some secondary looks, but at the same time, I think that's also Jada got himself into a situation that kind of propelled, how the career would move forward. Again, it's important, like you said, to have a lawyer look at these contracts, to know that you have a good rapport. Again, just because, somebody managed a big artist before doesn't mean that they're the right manager for you. It really is a relationship the same as it would be with a significant other. There has to be checks and balances. There has to be mutual understandings. It's not as straightforward as like, this person managed so-and-so, so they're going to do a great job with me. If the vision's off is never going to work. It has to be genuine.
And to be fair, sometimes it's not the manager though. Sometimes it's the artist. The manager's going to get opportunities and the artist is like, no, I don't want to do that. Well, damn, bro, like, this is going to help you get this. And you try to sit there and explain it to them and you still get a no. So I think it's more like, is it you? Like, look back, like Jada, like, is it you? Because every manager thinks you have a problem, you know? So I think at the same time, looking at yourself as an artist and say, am I doing everything I can to help my manager? Am I doing everything I can to help my team? Are we communicating properly to be able to execute whatever goal that we all have mutually? I think that's really important. Like, manager, that's just a title. Anybody can write an email, right? Anybody can answer the phone call. So it can just be a person on your team that's just really good with business. Maybe they went to business school and they know how to make sure your merch is on point and they know how to talk to bookers so you can go back and get another show. So honestly, sometimes it's easy to blame, it's easy to point fingers, you know? Sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, what am I doing to make sure that it's going good?
And just to like comment on that, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so keen on people working with somebody who's very close to them, who they've been with since the beginning. And that doesn't mean they're going to be your only manager. Like right now, I'm about to sign with Maverick, which is one of the biggest management companies. And my past experience, I'm kind of like, all right, are they going to just have me sit there, like G-Eazy next to me, and I'm just nobody? Or, you know, how's that going to work? So the way I'm structuring my deal is I'm having them co-manage with somebody who I've been kind of growing with for my whole career. So I always have my team there, and then I can help. They can help me kind of get to that next level. But yeah, that's the idea. So
we're going to do a 2-in-1 question here next, and that has to do with artists getting booked, and then also with that question, some of the secrets of what the venue buyers and booking agencies are looking for those bookings. So now we'll move into artists actually getting booked to make that important money.
Well, the books are important. You pretty much, I mean, it's important to have a good relationship with a booker, and that can really change your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think for Jason, it's really what you look for in up-and-coming acts and how you book them, certainly, yes.
So, especially up-and-coming acts, you talk a little bit larger than what I'm speaking about right now is when you're an up-and-coming DJ, club circuit level, I preach to everybody I know, like, be your brand. Like, you're a walking brand for yourself. You need to, don't just send a couple photos. Like, make sure you have professional photos done. Make sure that you have video marketing material in today's day and age. I mean, the difference in when you're promoting a show and using video versus like a flat image is night and day. It'll be like a couple hundred to 50,000 views in a week versus a couple hundred for a still image. This all goes back to your brand. And you don't have to be a big artist today to have really good marketing material and get your name out there. I remember seeing Millennium. Nobody knew who he was, and his ads were all over Facebook, and you're just looking into this guy because as a booker, you're like, who is this guy? This Millennium guy. His marketing's great, and I see it everywhere.
Tickets.
Yeah, now I can't afford to buy it.
Gotta get them early.
Yeah. But really just being your brand, being easy to work with, having a good team, and a lot of people even at the lowest level are trying to even get into the clubs. Like, hey, this is the club I want to play, but I don't even know how to get in there. When you're starting out there, I would suggest like going there, getting to know some bartenders and whatever in that building. Get them following you because it'll eventually get to the right person, and that's a lower level than what these ladies are by far. But it's like when you're just starting out, you definitely build your brand, get in there. Proximity approach works. I'll tell you a real quick cool story is I have a DJ, his name's DJ Valet, and he used to valet cars for me. And he's been working for me for over 10 years now.
Great name, by the way. I might want to bring that up before we leave today, and the importance of what's in a name and how everybody has their name and what are some of the crazy names. But DJ Valet is freaking awesome. That's awesome. Keep taking that question and keep what's going around.
Yeah, like what you're saying, I wouldn't underestimate what you can really do when you're just trying to even get your first few gigs. Like for me, it was literally through a friend. He knew a club owner, And I basically begged him. I was like, just give me one night, please. You play for free a million times and you gradually, make a couple $100 and then, you just keep going. Eventually somebody's gonna notice.
So I actually manage DJs in Miami. I have a Robo Talent, it's a management company in Miami, and one of the first things, so we have a JV team and then we have like a varsity team, where you have to do certain things and get certain levels to get to the next time where we'll start pitching you to like bigger venues or bigger festivals. But it's a good thing what he said. One of my things that I tell my DJs is if you don't have a career already, and some of these bookers be like, 50,000. And people are getting smart. They're realizing that 50,000 followers isn't going to pack a club. They're realizing that talent isn't going to sell bottles. So going into a venue early, especially if you find out that the venue just opened, that's a perfect time to go in there, meet the bartenders. I go all the way and meet the bathroom lady. I go meet the bar back because like he said, sooner or later, and I'll fish it in their ear. I'll be like, damn, my DJ was dope, wasn't he? Yeah, you like that, right? Hey, what word do you want to hear? I get it right now. You want a shout out? Call Bottle Girls. Hey, give me a shout out. You can sell a bottle. I got you. Like, it's like little things like that. The communication between other people and being able to like, this person's connected to this person, and if you talk to this person, you might get this person. Like, all that is really important, especially if you catch it early. If you wait a year and then now the club is popping and they got their programming is done and DJs are in there, it's gonna be hard. So if you get in there early and try to get your game out there, even if you're nobody, it really becomes a professional thing. Like, I like you. Or I like your manager. I like you, so I'm gonna book him. He wasn't that great, but I know he needs a couple more gigs, and he'll get there. And he'll build with me. Like, he'll play like how I want him to play. Cool. The kid is 19 years old. He'll take a $300-$400 check. I wouldn't want that. That's kind of undercutting. But if you need to get in, if I need to get my guy in, let him open, let him close. Figure out, like, or if they tell you no, don't take no. Just like, what else can I do? Fuck it. I'll be a promoter. I'll wait till one DJ cancels and then I'll come in. You know what I'm saying? Like, be that person that people go to when, damn, this person let me down. Shit, I've bartended before too. Like, I'll go in there like, fuck it, this party's gonna open and my DJ's gonna play. You know, so being able to find a solution, I think, in any situation is good too. Being able to help people and be a team player.
I think she's definitely, of course, she's right about that. And also, I mean, just because you're, even when you get to a level where your artists are working with a booking agent, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing all they can do for your artists in the same way that some managers are not the right fit or not prioritizing, So that's why it's important also for the team that you have behind you, the management team as well, whoever else may be on it to keep pushing, no matter what, especially for the up-and-coming guys. Or girls, it is very, very important that you're in there all the time. Always looking for opportunity. Always looking for what's best for your artists.
I told my DJs, I'm like, I need 10 new venues that you want to go play at, then I'll go reach out to them. I don't have time to research 10 venues. You gotta do a little work. You don't work during the day. Like you're out at night. So during the day, business hours, go online and tell me what you want me to do, because I work for you. See, a lot of artists and a lot of DJs, they get signed or they get a manager and then they fall back. They're like, all right, cool. I made it. I'm gonna just wait till the money rolls in. No, that's not how it works. It's instead of let me know what to attack or work for you. I think all that matters.
I think that it's, for me, it used to be like you were on the radio or you had a beatport, remember, radio, and you would just get a show. It used to be that you'd get a show and the promoter would be doing a lot of the work, and things are very different now. I think it's down to your fan base too. You gotta build your fan base, data collection, emails. You do little shows. I actually have an iPad I bring with me, and I get somebody that works in the club to collect them because it matters all the time. It's amazing. And also, it's interesting when you're doing a bigger show, the work you have to do now. I mean, that the promoters ask you to do. Takeovers of Instagram and Facebook, and they want to see. I mean, especially if you're a larger artist, they're looking at your numbers from your last gig. So I mean, there's a lot more work to be done. But I think up and coming, it's definitely just saying, pick the venues out, see what matches your style. Go to the club, talk to people, build that list. So if you're gonna put on, I know actually some friends that put on parties, and they were showing me some things because they were very mad that they used to be kind of big and get a lot of gigs, and everybody turned them away for some reason. But now what they do is they've been putting on their own parties, and they have a list of now 12,000 people that's taken them, he said, about 18 months to build. You go into Instagram, you look at other venues, you direct message people, you know, that are looking at your type of music, say have a party. And there's something called Eventbrite, which is a link, and you build a guest list, a VIP list. So when people click on that link, they give you your email. So you have them on the list. Unless they unsubscribe, they're in your list. So, I mean, there's so many ways, but it really does come down. It's like if you do have 50,000, 200,000, 1 million people on your Facebook, it doesn't mean that you're going to fill the club, you know. It's really, you have to work hard for it. But as you said, you found your first gigs, you got to the radio station on your own. I mean, me too. It's amazing the things that we've done, you know, in order to get people, is to go out, get flyers, you know, put flyers on cars. They still do that, you know, to get people there. You just have to be clever. You have to be determined. You can't be discouraged. You have to believe that you can do it. And it's just little bits at a time. I always say, you know, make sure you're doing something every day for yourself, to build your brand, to build your email list. I carry cards with me. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I still carry a card and give it to people every day, because that's one new person. And
you never know where that one person can be too.
yeah, you never know. You know, it's being personable, talking, meeting people. It's definitely, you know, I know Lenny, and I see how they've built themselves. It's incredible over the years, and so I think definitely just working at it every day.
And I mean, it's not just, we're just talking about shows right now, but I think also it's important to realize, like, you need music, and you need, you know, music, you need this guy playing it, you need, you know, as much to get it out there as possible. So, let's
I can help you with that.
yeah. I mean, for me, how I started my first song was, I just sent Calvin Harris a direct message on Twitter, and he was following me already because we both were at Hawkson. And yeah, most stuff that I've done, I just like stopped people. Like, you really just have to get in their inbox. I mean, people send me stuff all the time too, and sometimes I don't see it, and other times it takes me like a few months, but I think it's a good way.
But also, I think at the same time though, and I told this to my DJs as well, start your own party. Like, don't be scared to like fail, right? Because if you want to get into the big, you want to be on Live on Sunday because it's guaranteed 1,500 people. Yes, it's going to be a movie, do it for the clout. Absolutely. But did you really do anything for your career? You know what I'm saying? So another thing I like them is like build it and they will come. It's like start a Sunday party or brunch. It starts with 5 people. All right, not great. But then next week, 15 people with mad drunk. There were 15 of us. So they give us free liquor all day. Or 20 people the next week. So if you build it, they will come. Another theory, like, don't just depend, I have to be here. I have to do this with this person. Let the motherfucker come to you. Like, I have a meeting next week. I'm so excited because I've been wanting to work with this person. I'm like, all right, now I'm somewhere. Yeah, you want to talk to me? Come through. Let's do it. It's okay to wait and be patient too. You know, rush and hustle, absolutely, but be patient too. Make the right move for yourself. Be happy. That's probably like the most important thing. Is that whatever it is that you're doing or whatever you're out there doing, find a way to be happy because this industry will tear you down. So I think being happy really helps a lot of other things and a lot of business for you too. You have that good positive energy. All that's important, you know.
Mike, and then we'll wrap this question up and go on to the next one. Yeah.
I just want to touch on one thing because as a radio host, I host a lot of shows where I know artists pay to perform. And I think, like she says, it's really about creating opportunity for yourself. You know, ultimately, I tell artists all the time, you know, you're paying to perform for X amount of people, but are you getting video out of this? Are you bringing somebody with you to document it, to put it on your social media so that now maybe somebody who is booking shows sees that you brought out a big crowd, sees that you got people excited? Because, I mean, at least for me in radio, a lot of times even hosting these shows, it's not even necessarily the person who has the best song that, you know, attracts me, but like I met 2 girls the other day that the DJ was messing up and they were just able to talk through it with the crowd. And like, you know, that'll get you attention. So it's really what your vision is and the approach, because with social media and things like that, you could reach anybody. You could get in touch with anyone. And And when you do get their attention, you want to leave a real, which I don't completely believe in, but a lot of people do it. At least turn it into an opportunity so that you're not just there doing it for the attention that's in the room, but you're able to expand your brand on your own platforms and, take it to another level where at some point maybe somebody's paying you to do the show because they see what you bring to the table.
This will be the final question. This is a loaded one. It's, again, 2 within 1, and then we have time for questions for the audience. And I think, me personally, I do believe this answer is different if we were asking this 10 or 15 years ago compared to now, and that is, how can an artist make it without a major label? And then the next extension is that, how can an artist make it without having a major song on any kind of radio airplay or terrestrial or non-terrestrial radio? It's going to be a big, huch question to wrap up today. Everybody's going to have an answer, and you'll have a chance, and then we'll do questions from the audience.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. We saw a Lil Nas X here. I'll be honest, the labels, it really depends. Every artist is different, every circumstance is different. Depending on what your vision is, you might want to do things a certain way. For me personally, coming up working under somebody like Peter Rosenberg, I was able to meet a lot of people on the one-on-one. And as I grew and I decided I wanted to get into the management side of things, I was able to tap into a lot of relationships that I saw major labels tapping into without having to go through the 10 people that get paid at the major label to connect you with the one person who's doing the job. So, it's about footwork, it's about your network and who you're connecting with. But, as far as that goes, I really think that there's so many ways to do it. And, ultimately, it's the team. Whether the team is associated with a major or not, if your team is solid and able to connect those dots, you're going to be fine. There's so many social media campaigns, these things. Lil Nas X did this off TikTok and then signed to a major label. If he had a network, it could have been different. Lil Pump, signed with a label underage. They decided to, he had a situation where his deal was null and void, whatever. He could have built his own label out if he had the knowledge of how to get a publicist, how to get a booking agent. So it's really, you have to understand the business that you're in, or have somebody close that understands how it works, because the labels aren't always the answer, the same way being independent isn't always an answer. It's really got to be tailored to what your vision is and what you think is right for yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I believe that, with the labels, at this stage, like you said, this isn't 15 years ago, so if you are going into the label thing, we've done the label thing before, we've done the independent thing before. So, you really have to weigh the good and the bad, is it worth it? Basically, what is the label going to bring to the table at this stage, you have to make that decision. Is it worth going with the label? You don't want to be, at the tail end of a label deal either, while they're focusing on their bigger guys. So, I think that is definitely something you have to consider now more than ever before. I wonder, what do you think about that? I know she wants it. She wants it.
So, I come from a label, right? So I kind of have, I don't want to say a biased opinion, but I've experienced it, and now that I'm in distribution, I'm learning so much and seeing so much that I wasn't able to see before at the label side, right? So where we're at now, I would say timing is probably the best fit. So you gotta use distribution as artist development, right? And you gotta use it almost as ammo. If you have the right team, and you got a good digital person, you got a good manager, they'll be able to get all this information that you're doing as you're becoming, as you're developing, and then be able to go to the label and be like, give me some money. I got 50 million this, and my videos are doing this, and that. That's really, I think, now is when you want to go to the label, when you're like, I have this, and all I need you to do is give me a little bit more breath so I can go to the next level. That's really what it's come down to, is just the recognition and being said, oh, I'm signed to so-and-so. That's really all it is. It's like, oh, I'm signed to Rock Nation. Oh, are you? You took a picture by the flag and all that? That's cool. So what are you doing? Where are you at?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it's all great if you're with a big label, but I think you got to build it yourself first, so that if they decide to drop you the next day, you're not like, oh, wait, what am I doing? So yeah, I think that a lot of people are doing, a lot of artists are doing licensing deals now too. So you can still own your music, and basically license it to a label or a distributor for like a certain period of time.
Oh yeah, they get your masters. I forgot about that. We don't. EQ, you keep your masters. The plug.
Yeah.
Lastly, Jason and Jess, anything more on this question before we open up the room?
Well, I'm mostly known for my dance music, but I also play guitar and piano and do singer-songwriter stuff. So in 2015, I started my own label with Distribution Intonation, so I could release all that stuff, set myself up on Spotify and everything. I mean, it's a question I always think of because looking at Spotify and the way things are and distribution and the way they're changing, I mean, I think doing it that way could be a way to kind of, build your brand, releasing things very consistently and trying to work the playlists of Spotify, music licensing. If you can, contact, people that put music in shows. There's many different services and things. I mean, it's not easy, but I've gotten a lot of things on my own by just being clever and sort of persistent with people. I mean, if you can get your song in a show or a commercial or something, you're building yourself up because you have to make yourself look good to a larger label. And again, they're only going to take you on when they think they don't want to do the work anymore. You have to kind of do the work for them. But, there's so many things that's in our hands now. As you said, so many things we can do on our own. It's just about...
Yeah, I mean, when you get to a label, that's something you have to consider, they're all about a big rollout. In distribution, we're not about a big rollout. We're like, give us the music, we're ready to put it out. You get bored. Like, what I've learned, even doing my own playlist, I get bored of my own playlist after 2 months. I'm like, where's the new music? I'm going to browse. That's another thing about labels is that they might hold you, you got a project, but they might hold you for 6 months because management, their marketing team isn't ready, or they don't have the opportunities for you, or they need to talk to this person, or the radio team now, it's not a radio record. So there's a lot of things that the label will do. I wouldn't say to keep you from coming out, but they definitely want to do it right, because it's their name with your brand. But with distribution, you're able to do what, you can call me tomorrow and I want to put my EP tomorrow, okay? Cool. What? You the boss. It's your label, it's your music. So if that's what you want to do, that's the one thing with distribution. We can do whatever. You can do whatever, really.
We'll get ready for questions. Jason, do you have anything else on this topic? About 30 seconds, and then we'll do questions.
I would just say be different, be yourself. Don't try to copy everybody else when you're building your music up. When you start at a smaller level, instead of using a label, if you can build that up, it'll give you much more negotiating power with the label. You won't be paid. You'll get a much better deal if you already built it up and did a lot of the legwork. But at the end of the day, I do think that the label, from what I know, the label is a good network because that's instant everywhere. So if you can build it up, the higher you can do on your own, the better. And then I totally agree with them.
Up next, everybody, social media, branding, and PR. Go ahead out and hand up some questions. Any hands? Anybody want to ask any questions? Mike, while we're getting questions ready, just want something real brief. Raise your hand if you have a question. Anybody about anything we're talking about today?
I just wanted to mention one thing very quickly. A label is a job opportunity, not a lottery win. Don't ever treat a label and a deal as a lottery win. Always look at it as a job opportunity. The second you sign, get ready to work.
I mean, being an artist is still a job.
Facts.
A lot of artists forget that, yes, you have to wake up at 6 in the morning to go do the Breakfast Club. I was out to 3 in the morning, and so we still gotta work.
It's a
That's
job.
That's a job. That's a great point. Y'all sure you didn't have no questions?
We have a first question right here.
This for you, Susan.
Hey, sweetness.
I'm Jimmy Sanger. I'm an artist, guitarist, producer. You're basically saying that labels want to add fuel to the flame. Like, they want to see what you already have going for yourself. So, what would you say, how do you find most of these artists? You think it would be more through emails or in person, going to the label, or just...
How do I find them?
Yeah, how do you think, would be better?
Sweetness, before you go, let's have somebody raise their hand next that wants to answer the next question so we can get these done pretty quickly. Go ahead, Sweetness.
Thank you.
So, wait, one more time. How do I find an artist?
Like more on social media because I feel like DMing like it gets lost in the DM.
Yeah. Okay, so I would say like me personally, I'm very old school. I found an artist at a showcase like 3 weeks ago, and I signed her the next day. And I love this story because it's like one of those stories like the girl still works at Chick-fil-A, and I made it a point to tell her like don't quit. Like there's only so much we're gonna be able to do right now. But I've gone to showcases, I found artists, I signed them right there, and then we do A&R research. Yeah, we go on the YouTube and all that. Numbers are still, like, numbers don't lie. A lot of numbers help us realize, like, if I invest $5,000, now that I know about digital and how streaming numbers work, your numbers are going to tell me how long it's going to take me to recoup that money. So it's still a business. You know, I have to make people money. I still have a boss and another boss and another boss that we all have to answer to. So at the end of the day, like, we have to make them money. So if you're going to make me money, absolutely, I'm going to double take you. But then you have those opportunities where, like, I believe in this. Like, Alon is one of those artists that I found. I believe in her. I want to do what I can for her. But then you have artists that already have it together. She doesn't have a team or nothing, but she's talented. Then you have artists like yourself. You have a whole team and everything. You go to things like this, and then you meet people like me. It all depends. Like, use every opportunity. DM people. I used to be shy about DMing, and then I DM one person, I got the answer I want, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm DMing everybody. I'm in it, you know? So it all depends on you and your personality, I think, too, you know?
Just to comment on that, then also you'll start meeting more people when you start doing it. So there's like companies like TuneCore, which you can literally just upload your music yourself. You pay like a little bit of money. Then you can start submitting your own music on Spotify. So once you start getting those numbers, you start meeting more people like her or other, you know.
Yeah, but you don't want to do TuneCore when you have a company like mine where you don't have to pay, you know, and then you have people you can actually speak to because I know a lot of people can't get their money. So one thing that we're trying to is make sure that our business is right. You want to make sure that you're going in good business with other people that are doing good business. That's really important too.
Next question right here.
How's it going? I'm Christopher Watkins. I just wanted to ask you guys your opinion on how important it is for like college radio nowadays. Is college radio still like as important? And if so, like how much will that really assist an artist that's coming up?
Mike?
I think college radio is super important. I think ultimately it's like, you know, everybody looks at a Hot 97 or a Power 105 as like, I need my song there and it's going to get heard. And a lot of times it's moving through the colleges that's going to create the buzz that even puts it on our radar. Like Sweetness said, there's so many ways that we discover artists. And for me personally, the discovery process is everything. Like, especially when you're getting thousands and thousands of submissions every day, you want to see that somebody is doing something to stand out. And if I get 100 submissions, 99 of them just want to be on Hot 97, but there's always one that hits you that's like, I was on this college station, I was on that college station, I did this interview. And those are the people that you really believe in the most because ultimately they cross the T's and dot the I's. You know, I tell artists all the time, especially when it comes to radio, if I play something, or if I hear a song, right, if I want to know what this song is, I pull my phone out, I put it on Shazam. 9 out of 10 times these artists send me SoundCloud links, you can't even find the record. So I'm on a #1 market station. I don't want my listeners to be hearing something that they can't find, that I have to do extra promotion on now so that they can find the artist. So part of it is coming correct. And I think part of coming correct is, you know, doing the steps as far as getting on college radio, getting on internet radio, doing everything you can to create the perception that, you know, you're really trying to make moves and take action when it comes to getting your music heard.
One in the back left, and then let's have somebody ready again while he's speaking for the next question.
How you doing? My name is JB. First to the person with the college radio question, I'm like head of content and influence at Station Head. We got a place for you, you know what I'm saying? Come start the show with us.
See that?
But
that's how it works.
Outside of that, I manage producers. Two in particular, one of them is SK. He produced Neighbors Know My Name by Trey Songz, Fly Shit On Me by Future. And we got 2 records currently in the top 50 in R&B on Spotify. Who's by Jacquees and Your Piece by Jacquees featuring Lil Baby. So I wanted to know, because a lot of times I run into like representatives at labels and things, and I try to network. But I know oftentimes there are a lot of things on the agenda for a label, so people are often busy, especially the ones that are highly productive. What's a good way for people like myself to maintain good contact once we meet you that first time, to get you some demos, to continue to get placements for people like, you know, my producer SK?
Before we answer that, let's get one more hand ready for the next question because we'll only have room for one more right here, and then that'll wrap up the questions and any answer that we have for the gentleman in the back there.
I mean, it looks like you're doing pretty well. You got 2 records on the top 50. You must be communicating with somebody, all right. I'm just saying, to me, it sounds like you know what you're doing already. But I think for me, like, just if you're consistent and keep emailing me and you're persistent, if I don't answer the first time, by the 10th time, I probably will. Yeah.
I'd say give me a reason to want to keep talking to you. Honestly, I have artists that there's a kid in Sweden that sends me music all the time that I'll always answer his DMs because he came on my live one time. I was stressed out and gave me a good piece of advice. There are people that have reached out to me that they're like, I make music and I work at a barbershop. I used to work at a barbershop. I can relate on that tip. So, I mean, as much as bothering somebody over and over again, yes, you'll get their attention. You want the positive energy to be returned. If you're really trying to build with somebody, I always believe that it has to be like anything else. You want to build with them on organic things. It doesn't always have to be music driven. You can talk to people about regular stuff in everyday life, and the relationship's going to continue to blossom, and the music is a part of it. But I think when music is the agenda, and when people feel like there's an agenda behind it, that's when the relationship starts to go sour.
That's actually really good because I hate when, not hate, but like, I got the hottest shit ever.
I hate that.
Oh my God,
I hate that.
But the DJ next to me don't even know you're from New York. Like, you gotta be hot in your city too, and in your own college. Like that's really big because like Mike can, you're from Tennessee. I'm sure Mike can call somebody from LA or Tennessee like, is this record moving? Like the way they're saying, like that's another thing. Like, don't tell me you're the hottest ever. I need somebody else to tell me that. Come correct, and like you said, the best way is to relate. So have a good conversation. Like, go through this and be like, oh shit. Oh, they like basketball. Hey, you saw the NBA Finals, bro? What's up? Be able to relate to that person, like you said, because they were at a barbershop. He opened up a little bit more because he knows what that feels like, So being able to do your research is really important too.
Final one, and unfortunately on this answer, just keep it to 30 seconds on this answer. Question?
Okay, just a quick question. Is it better to go label or go independent?
Yeah, I don't have time.
There's a lot of
A
variables.
little bit more than 30
So
seconds.
many variables.
Yeah.
But my booth is over there. We can talk.
It's impossible to answer respectfully. Like, every artist is so different. It really depends on where you're at in your career, what your approach has been to that point, as far as if you've worked with labels or production companies or, talent agents. There's so many different ways you could go about it that there's no way to say that one or the other is right.
All right, that's unfortunately, Eva, a couple seconds. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's great to start independent and then go from there. Like, I mean, if you're just going to, I don't think your label's even going to give you an offer just at the get-go. You got to start somewhere. So, yeah, I would just start building it yourself and then go from there.
Thanks again, Eva, Mike, Jess, Mark, Sweetness, and Jason. Give everybody a round of applause. It's been up here on the panel. Up next is social media, branding, and PR. I'm Martel from the Media of New York, KCU, and iHeartRadio. Have a great afternoon today. Thanks again. And again, another round of applause for everybody up in front of you today.
Hey, give it up to this guy right here, too, for being a great host.